In this video, I'm going to be breaking down a fully automated system to generate content on autopilot. The system is going to source video ideas by itself, and it's also going to write out YouTube scripts for each of these ideas. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so we're inside of make.com. The first thing we're going to do is create a new scenario. And the first step of this scenario is going to be an HTTP request. And we're getting an HTTP request because we're going to be scraping questions from the internet. So there's a bunch of different question answering websites. There's Reddit, there's Quora, people search up questions on TikTok. But it can be difficult to scrape data from these websites directly because they don't like people doing exactly that. They want actual users, not bots scraping their sites. They make it difficult to access. But we're going to get around that by searching in Google search. So whatever niche you're trying to make content for, just type that into Google and then copy the URL after you search it. And then you're going to take that URL and put it in the URL section for this module. And that's all you have to do, really. We'll just run it really quickly, make sure it's working properly, and boom, that's the first step. If you can see this data, we just scraped that particular web search. So there's a whole bunch of HTML, JavaScript, all types of stuff in there. But we're not going to deal with that directly. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next module. So we're going to click this text parser down here, and we're going to go to HTML to text, and then go ahead and connect that to HTTP. So this is going to take all this mess from the first step that we have in data, all this HTML unreadable stuff, and it's going to parse that and only return text. So we're going to click on that, and then we're going to go ahead and drag data over and then click OK. Now we can make this text somewhat more readable. So I'm going to go ahead and run this again and make sure that everything is right. So let's check the outputs. Okay, this is still pretty unreadable, but it is more readable than it was before, and is readable enough to the point where we're not going to waste a bunch of unnecessary tokens in Chatgpt having it parse pure HTML and JavaScript. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next step, which is creating a completion. I'm going to use GPT 3.5 Turbo. For this first step, this isn't where we're going to be generating the content, so you should probably use GPT 3.5 Turbo as well and save yourself some money. If you haven't set up your OpenAI in make.com, you're going to need to go to the OpenAI API. You're going to need to go to the API section of your OpenAI account. And if you haven't set that up, you're going to have to do that. It's going to ask you to put a credit card on file. You'll go ahead and do that. You'll get everything set up. There will be a place where you can find your API key. You're going to copy that. You're going to go to add. You're going to enter your API key here. You should also be able to find your organization ID. You're going to copy that and you're going to put that there. And then you'll be all set up. But I'm already set up, so we're going to go ahead and go to the prompt. Oh, it's going to make me redo this again. So the prompt is pretty important. So let's just see. I already wrote it before I started the video. So this is the system. So this is just letting ChatGPT know how it should behave. It says you are an expert web scraper. You will be given a block of text, and your job is to return an array with each individual question you were able to find in the array. So this is basically going to take this output, which is this parse text from the HTML, and it's going to be searching that text for questions, because that was the whole purpose of us getting this particular URL. All of these results are questions. That's why we did Quora specifically. Everything here is a question. So we're just going to ask Chatgpt to go ahead and parse these questions out, and we're going to create an array with these questions. And then I'm not sure how many tokens it's supposed to take. So if we put in 0, then Chatgpt will just use as many as it needs to. Oh, and we have to give it the actual data. So we'll say here is the text to parse, and then drag in the text over here. So now we should get out an array of questions if this works properly. So we're going to go ahead and test it. Let's see, go to our result. Okay, boom. Some of these questions are a little cut off, but this is all we need. We just need the basic idea of the question in order to feed into ChatGPT again and make content with. So now we have a list of questions inside of an array. I don't know what I just did there, but the next step is to make our Google document for where we're going to house the answers to these questions. So we're going to go type in doc into modules, and then you're going to go to create a doc. Once again, if you don't have your Google set up, you're going to click on the add button and then just log into your Google account. Pretty simple. For the name, we're going to say content draft, and then we're going to get the dates. That's what this now is. This is just the date and time. So this is how we're going to tell our different drafts apart. If we run this function on multiple days, this is going to be how we separate them. Content is going to ask for something. Just put a space. We don't want to put any content now. We're just making it, and you're going to understand why we went ahead and made the doc here, even though we're not going to have the responses until later. Document location. I would suggest making a folder in your Google Drive specifically for content drafts, so that you can just have everything in a place where you can find it easily. But that's about it as far as creating the document. Now we're going to get into iterating this array with all the questions so that we can create content for each specific question. We're going to create a video script for each specific question. So actually, I just clicked add module, but we're going to go ahead and go to flow control, and we're going to get an iterator. This iterator is basically going to take the array and is going to split it apart and parse through the actual items in the array. And we're going to do that by using a text function. So let's see, where are the text functions? We're looking for split, because we basically want to split the array by the commas. Okay, so we found it. You need to find split. This A symbol, this is where all the text functions are. If you're not familiar with what a function is, you're not really familiar with programming. A function basically just allows us to make basic manipulations to the text. So we could get rid of certain characters, we could split on certain characters, we can replace certain characters. That's basically what text functions allow you to do. But we're going to go ahead and take our results, and then we're going to type in a comma over here. So what we just did is we just created a function that will split our results based on commas. So it's going to break apart this array over here based on the commas, and then we're going to get each individual question on its own, and then the iterator is going to go through it. You see this 5 over here. I don't think this is for how many questions there are in the array, but when we run it, there'll be a number that will pop up, and that'll basically just be the amount of times the iterators ran. All right, so this next step we're going to be creating another completion. And I'm going to use 3.5 Turbo again. This is where we're creating the content. So depending on how quality you want it to be, you might want to go with a more up-to-date model. You might want to use GPT-4, but I think 3.5 will work pretty well. Once again, this prompt is crucial for this step. We want Chatgpt to write us some content answering this question, but we want to get the best possible response out of Chatgpt. And you have to keep in mind that Chatgpt is trained on the entire internet. That means it has answers from everybody. So light went out. By our prompting, the prompt that we use is going to determine the quality of the answer we get out, because it has, in my particular example, I'm doing real estate agents. It definitely has data from professional real estate, from veteran real estate agents, people with tons of experience and knowledge in the field. So I have to prompt it in a way that I get that specific data out of it, and not just the data for people who don't know what they're talking about. And this isn't 100% guaranteed, but this is going to give you the highest chance of doing that. So let me just read this prompt really quick. It says, you are a seasoned veteran real estate agent with 30 years of experience in the industry. Your job is to answer questions from people interested into getting into the field. You'll be given a question and your job is to write out a transcript for an in-depth YouTube video answering the question in detail, providing all of your insight working in the industry. That's a pretty detailed prompt, and it's going to give us a good shot at getting a quality response. We added, that's the system, just prompting it, letting it know what it needs to do. And then as far as the actual user, we're going to say, here is the question. And the question is this value. When we split the array with the iterator, it's calling these items that is split into. Each one of these items is called the value. So that's basically how we reference that. So we just told it what it needs to do, and we're going to give it the value. Once again, I'm not sure how many tokens it should take, so we'll hit 0 and just see how many it ends up taking. All right, so after we have that response, really, before I get to this next step, I'm going to make sure that's running properly. So let me go ahead, and if you can't see because I'm blocking it, but basically there's a little button that says run once, and that basically lets us get through everything and see how it's working, right? Okay, as you can see here, it's loading, but it's just iterating through this array. So we have 2 responses so far. It's going to keep going till it gets through all the questions, but we're going to go ahead and stop it and save some money, save a couple cents. We just need to make sure that it's working properly. So let's go ahead and check out some of these responses. All right, so boom, we're getting, this looks like a pretty quality script. This is what we were going for. So let's go ahead and finish this out. We're once again going to Google Docs, and this time we're going to insert a paragraph to a document. So that's why we created the document before we had the responses, because right now we're in an iterator. So if we tried to create the document inside the iterator, it would just keep creating documents, which would be cool if we were trying to just make a bunch of different pages, but it's easier if we just have one page with all the different scripts for this particular day on it, at least in my opinion. We are going to select the document by mapping, and we get the document ID from this first module, this create document module, and the ID is right here, the first thing on there. So we're going to drag that in there. We're going to insert paragraph by appending to the body of the document, and the appended text is going to be, we'll put the value, this is the question, and then we'll also put new lines. This is basically just going to give us some space between the actual title and then the actual script. The script is going to be, let's see, there's 2 GPT modules. This is 6 though, so this is what we're looking for. All right, so this is going to be the script. And then we want to go ahead and add some space between this is one video. So this is going to be a title or a question, that's the inspiration, and then the actual script. And then we're going to keep repeating, but we need some space in between results because it's just going to keep appending more titles and then more scripts onto this document. All right, so boom. This should be all we need. Yep, we're just mapping into this document that we've already created. We have the text and yeah. So this should be all we need. Trying to think if there's anything else. Nope, that's about it. So we're going to go ahead and run this once more and see if it works how it's supposed to. So as you can see, we got these results with the Quora URLs. We parsed them to get the actual questions out, fed them into GPT to parse them to get the responses out. Then we created the document. Then we went ahead and split the results. We split the actual questions using a comma, and then we're feeding these questions into Chatgpt, and it's writing us scripts. And then it's appending each one of these scripts to this document that we just created. So not sure how many values are in the array, but it's still chugging along. And as we can see, these numbers are updating. I'm going to go ahead and go to my Google Drive and we'll see. All right, content drafts. This is the folder. All right, and this is currently being written to by make.com, so I'm not sure. Me clicking on it shouldn't interrupt it. But okay, it looks like we're done. All right, so we're done. There's 2 files in there. This is the first one when we just ran the test, and this should be the official one. All right, and boom, we have a question. We got it out the array. And we could have used a text function to get rid of this, but it wasn't really that important. But this is the question. It went ahead and gave us a title. And here is our video transcript. This looks pretty quality. Let's see what we have here. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about a topic that I'm very passionate about, being a real estate agent and how to succeed in this dynamic industry. I've been in real estate for over 30 years and I'm excited to share my insights with you all. So what I can tell you about being a real estate agent, first and foremost, being a real estate agent is more than just buying and selling properties. It's about building relationships, understanding market trends, and providing excellent customer service. One of the key qualities of a successful real estate agent is being a great communicator. You need to be able to effectively communicate with clients, other agents, and various parties involved in a real estate transaction. Clear and concise communication is crucial in this field. Okay, it seems pretty quality in my opinion. And bam, what is it like being a real estate agent? This one's breaking it down into different aspects: flexibility, income potential, client relationship, market knowledge. Is working with a real estate agent really worth it? Should I become a real estate agent? How to become a successful real estate agent? As you can see, we've just generated 10 scripts for 10 YouTube videos, or at least 10 outlines for scripts, basically automatically. We didn't have to come up with the questions. We just found them, parsed them, and then Chatgpt went ahead and made content around them. This is a very powerful system. For this particular example, I just showed you on one page, but if you guys want, I can show you how you can find all the pages, search all the Google search results, and create content ideas for all of them. If you have any other automation solutions that you need done for your business, book a call with me below to see if I can help you with that. And if you want to see more similar content, then make sure to subscribe to the channel.